You know, sometimes the things we do with the best intentions end up having the most unexpected results. What if I told you that our global race to save the planet, this massive push for clean energy, is actually sparking a new high-stakes conflict in the last untouched wilderness on Earth?
This line, from an analysis in the journal Geico, really captures the heart of the matter. What was once a timeless, frozen landscape is quickly becoming a modern battleground. We're about to draw a direct line for you, connecting the battery that might be in your future car to new military bases at the North Pole.
So let's start with the goal itself. It's something we can all agree on, right? The mission is to transition the entire world to clean energy to fight climate change. I mean, it's the challenge of our lifetime. But this enormous global shift, it comes with a gigantic and often invisible price tag. You see, to build this green future, we need an absolutely mind-boggling amount of raw materials. According to an analysis by the Sandvik Group, we're talking about 3 billion tons of minerals and metals. Just to put that into perspective, that's like building the Great Pyramid of Giza almost 500 times over. It's the sheer physical weight of our ambition. And it's not just the amount, it's the speed of this demand that's so important. The International Energy Agency projects that if we're serious about hitting our net zero targets, the world is going to need up to 6 times more of these critical minerals by 2050. Now, this isn't a slow ramp up, it's a literal explosion in demand. And that right there, that's the first domino to fall in this story. So the big question is, where do we get all these materials? Well, the foundation of our entire green future, all those batteries, wind turbines, and solar panels, it rests on a supply chain that is, frankly, incredibly fragile. And it's all concentrated in just a few spots on the globe.
And this is where you find the real choke point. As a report from APCO Worldwide details, China doesn't just mine these materials, it completely dominates the processing of them. We're talking about rare earth elements, the secret sauce in high-tech magnets for things like wind turbines and EV motors. China controls something like 90% of the global processing. For any other country trying to build out its own green infrastructure, this creates a massive geopolitical risk.
Okay, think about it like this. For the past 100 years or so, global power was all about oil. Who had it, who controlled it. Now, that center of gravity is shifting to things like lithium, cobalt, and rare earths. The new game of geopolitics isn't about who owns the oil wells, but who controls the mineral refineries. It's a fundamental rewiring of how global power works. This huge demand and a very risky supply chain means countries are scrambling to find new sources for these minerals. And here is the profound, almost unbelievable irony. The very climate change we're fighting is unlocking a potential solution in the Arctic. There's a scientific reason for this. It's a phenomenon called Arctic amplification. Basically, as the bright, reflective ice melts, it exposes the darker ocean and land underneath. This dark surface then absorbs more sunlight, which causes more warming, which melts more ice. You see where this is going. It's a feedback loop that causes the Arctic to essentially warm itself. And the difference is just staggering. Research cited in the geopolitical chessboard shows the Arctic isn't just getting a little warmer, it's warming at 4 times the global average. This isn't some problem for the distant future, it's a radical transformation of an entire region of our planet happening right now. You can see the effect of this accelerated warming with your own eyes. Since we started tracking with satellites back in '79, the summer sea ice has just plummeted. And as a recent report on Arctic competition noted, some scientists project that we could see nearly ice-free summers as early as the 2030s. So as the ice vanishes, a whole new map of global power is being drawn in real time. New shipping lanes, like the Northern Sea Route, are opening up, which could slash travel times between Asia and Europe. And huge, previously frozen territories are becoming the new frontier for digging up resources. And this is the exact moment where our two stories, the desperate need for green minerals and the rapidly melting ice, crash right into each other. A 360 analysis found that Greenland alone is thought to hold a treasure trove of the exact minerals the world is fighting over. The demand is meeting a brand new, accessible supply. This collision has completely transformed the Arctic. It's gone from being a desolate, frozen expanse to being the central stage for 21st century great power competition. The scramble is officially on. And look, this isn't some wild theory. The United States' own 2024 Department of Defense Arctic strategy says it plain as day. The region is now a venue for strategic competition.
the Pentagon is actively preparing for potential conflict in the high north.
Then you have Russia. With its enormous Arctic coastline, the region is core to its national identity and its power. As the Arctic Yearbook describes, Moscow sees it as a critical axis for its economic and military future, and it has been pouring resources into militarizing its northern territories.
And it doesn't stop there. You've also got China, which is fascinating, right? Despite being thousands of miles away, it's declared itself a near-Arctic state. It's pushing this polar Silk Road idea, investing in infrastructure and science labs that, well, could easily serve both civilian and military goals. Which brings all of this to a really fundamental question. In our urgent and necessary race to solve the climate crisis, have we accidentally lit the fuse on a whole new geopolitical crisis in one of the most fragile and important ecosystems on the entire planet? At the end of the day, what this all means is that the global energy transition isn't just a story about technology or the environment. It's a story about power. The choices we make, the solar panels we might put on our roofs, the electric cars we think about buying, those decisions are now directly connected to the deployment of military icebreakers and army bases at the top of the world. And that leaves us with a very challenging thought to sit with. It seems that our road to a greener, more sustainable future is being paved straight through the world's last great untouched wilderness. What happens there is going to define not only the future of our climate, but also the future of our security.